Hello everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to Bitman TV. If you could like and subscribe to my channel, that'd be so kind of you. Join the slowly growing community within Bitman TV. So this week, 2nd of January, week commencing, I'm reviewing Raw and Smackdown, week commencing 2nd of January. It starts with the Bloodline trashing Raw, trashing the set, trashing tables, chairs, just going crazy after the loss of the match last week in the tag team match with John Cena and Kevin Owens beating Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. Basically, there was trashing Raw, saying they run the show, they're the best, everyone's going to feel it. Then KO comes out. KO basically comes out and blames Sami Zayn for what's happened and the loss. And then basically says to KO basically says, I've had enough of this, I just want to fight everybody. As he starts coming to the ring, Adam Pearce comes out with security, tells everyone to stop. And then he just proceeds to call out the rest of the locker room. The Raw locker room turns into a big brawl, and the Bloodline are pushed back into the crowd. Pearce says all the members of that Bloodline will wrestle today because they seem like they want to do some work. So the first match we had was Bianca Belair we had Bianca Belair saying she's going to beat Alexa Bliss in her match later on in the night for their WWE title match, but Alexa is seeming a bit weird. Then in the back, everyone in the locker room is going mad. You had Kevin Owens saying he wants the Bloodline. You had Montez Ford saying if someone's fighting the Bloodline, it's him. And you had Elias saying he wants Solo because Solo attacked him the other week. And then Adam Pearce goes ahead and makes some matches. You had Elias versus Solo in a street fight, and the Street Profits and KO versus Usos and Sami Zayn. So then it takes us to our first match for the Women's Raw Championship. You had Alexa Bliss versus Bianca Belair. Really good match. Really strong match, powerful match. But then it basically came down to some guy in the crowd wearing a Uncle Howdy mask, I believe it was, and it sent Alexa off the rails. Alexa started assaulting Bianca Belair, busted her open, there was blood. I think Alexa busted her nose as well, and no one won really. It turned into a massacre. Then we had Austin Theory saying his reign as US champion, I should say, has just began, and it's going to be reigning for a long time. So then we had Elias versus Solo in a street fight, a Music City street fight with pianos, guitars, basses, different things there. I put a artist, I forgot the name of the artist, but he produced the Raw theme for that show. He was there in the crowd giving a guitar to Elias to try and help him beat Solo, but in the end it wasn't enough. Solo then puts Elias through a table with a spinning Solo. And that was that really. For a piano, sorry, not a table, for a spinning Solo off the apron, and that was that. Then we had the Usos and Sami Zayn versus Street Profits and KO. Really good match. Go and watch, you haven't seen it, but in the end, Sami Zayn wins with interference from Solo. Then it turns to a big brawl because the Bloodline started beating down their opponents, and then Drew and Sheamus came down and started beating down the Bloodline, because Drew and Sheamus will face the Usos on Smackdown for the Tag Team Championships. Then we had Chad Gable versus Dexter Lumis in a pretty good match, which Dexter won. The crowd didn't really seem much into it, but there you go. Then we had Damage Control and Bayley in the ring, basically ripping the crowd, saying how they're the best. Bayley's basically come out and calls out everybody. And then Becky comes out, calls out Bayley and says basically for most of her career she's been living in the shadow of somebody else. I wonder who that person is. Then we had a match where it was Damage Control versus Becky in a handicap match. Becky was holding her own. She was holding her own in the match, definitely give her that. But then Leah Chim comes out and she starts tagging with Bayley, but in the end, Io Sky gets the victory. Then we had Seth Rollins backstage saying he's going to win the title and he's going to show Austin Theory what he is all about. Then we had Alexa Bliss basically saying the reason why she attacked Bianca Belair was to get into her head and create some space, and she will win the title later down the line when they face again. Then we had, in the main event of the evening, we had Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins for the US title. Really good match, go and watch it. But in the end, it was spoilt by a low blow in which Theory got the win. So that was Smackdown, go and watch it. That was Raw, sorry, go and watch it, I haven't seen it. Then we have Smackdown, once again starts with a bloodline again. Roman Reigns comes straight out. Roman Reigns now has held titles for 859 days. He's in Memphis, and he basically says he wants to hear from Sami Zayn first of all. Now, Sami Zayn was like, yeah, they won on SmackDown. They're going to show everybody what they're going to do in 2023. They're the best. But Roman says he doesn't really care about what happened last week on SmackDown. He wants to know what happened in the previous year. Wow, they lost the match. And Roman basically started saying to Sami, are you trying to be the tribal chief? Are you trying to be me? And started shouting at Sami, started going at him, started losing his cool. As he was about to get to his point, KO comes out and says to Roman, basically, you shouldn't be mad at Sami, you should be mad at me, because I'm the guy who costed you the match, and I want you at Royal Rumble. That was it. Then in the backstage, we had Charlotte Flair turn up in a brand new, I believe it was a 1 Series, I think, BMW, looking fresh in white. Then we had a New Day versus Phantasma in a really good match, which Santos got the pin, got the victory. Then we had Sami Zayn trying to talk to the Bloodline, but no one wants to talk to him. They won't let him come into the room. They're keeping him outside the Bloodline room like they always do. You got the Usos coming in. They didn't say anything to Sami Zayn. Paul Heyman says, look, they hate you, but I still love you. Then we had Liv Morgan basically saying she's going to be in the Royal Rumble. She's going to beat 29 other competitors, and she's going to WrestleMania. Then in a match, tag team match, we had Karrion Kross and Scarlett versus Madcap Moss and Emma. Really good match. But in the end, Kross got the win. Then we had Drew and Sheamus. I think that was in a pub, in an Irish pub somewhere, or a Scottish pub somewhere in America, basically saying they're coming for the Usos and they're going to be releasing a lot of pain. And they had the bar basically on their feet chanting. Then we had Charlotte come out, say she misses the crowd. It looks like Charlotte is a face coming back. She misses the crowd, says the reason why she's back, because she misses the crowd and she misses being in the ring, and she prides herself on 3 things, being consistent, and what was basically one of them. And she just wants to be the best, and she personifies a real champion, which I think, personally, she is the greatest women wrestler, I think, anyway, in my opinion. Then Sonya Deville comes out and goes, listen, you beat a half-dead Ronda Rousey, what about a fresh opponent? So then we had Charlotte versus Sonya in a good match, but Charlotte won. Then we had Ricochet on Top Dollar in a match, because last week Ricochet made fun of Top Dollar missing the top rope, and had a good match, but in the end, Ricochet won. And I knew this would happen. Hit Row have now turned heel, and they started beating down Ricochet, and Braun came out to save Ricochet. Sorry, I should stop there before I get to the top, before I get to the main event. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you very much. Then we had Sami basically speaking to Roman, apologising for what he's done, for being in the doghouse, for making him lose. And he also apologised because Roman said in his speech earlier that Sami was trying to be the head of the table. So Sami was basically saying he apologized, he makes him feel that way, because that he is in no means trying to be the head of the table. And in a crazy turn of events, Roman actually apologizes to Sami, and they're all buddies now. And then as the Usos match started, with Usos versus Drew McIntyre and Sheamus for the tag team championships, Roman didn't want him to leave. He wanted him to be by his side watching the match, eating popcorn. And the match happened, and it was a really good match. Go and watch. I haven't seen it, but the Usos defends their tag team championships. And basically in the segment, Roman Reigns said he wants Sami Zayn to redeem himself by beating Kevin Owens on next week's SmackDown. So let's see what happens there. So like, subscribe, and leave a comment. So that's your review of Raw and SmackDown. We commence in the 2nd of January. Thank you very much.